How are your braces?
They're very annoying. I hate them. I want to rip them out of my teeth. But honestly, it's worth it.
I didn't
Thank
think
you.
you needed them before. And, I'm happy that you're happy that you have them. But I personally didn't think you needed them before. You've always been adorable to me.
You know what really pushed me over the edge? Was like, I think I need braces, and I'm hanging out with my my 3-year-old niece. And she's like, Jake, let me see your teeth. So I like pull down my bottom lip and show her, and she just gives me this face of like,
ew.
She was like, whoa.
Oh.
And I was like, okay, I'll get the braces. That's the mind of a child. They'll tell it like it is.
They will tell you the
have
truth, no matter what it is.
Yeah.
They will definitely tell you the truth. You won't have any, because they know how to lie, but they don't know how to cover their honest
Right.
reaction.
They're not worried about your feelings too much. You know?
No. And why would they be? They don't
Yeah,
know
they're kids.
feelings. They're
They're
still learning to self-soothe. They don't understand feelings.
Speaking of kids, I wanted to bring this up to you real quick, okay?
Yes.
And, maybe we could talk about it more in the body of the show. But I watched the Snyder cut of Justice League, which I don't even know if you know really fully what that is.
No clue.
And
so save your breath on trying to explain it.
Okay. Maybe we'll do that in the show or whatever. But, like, the thing about it is, just a brief explanation because it has to do with what I'm about to, like, say.
Sure.
So, like, Zack Snyder was directing Justice League. His daughter passed away in the middle of filming the Justice League. So they brought in Joss Whedon to finish the production of Justice League. It turned out that movie was ass. It came out in like 2017 or something. And just recently, after, all the fans went nuts, there was a hashtag, release the Snyder cut. Everyone wanted to see Zack Snyder's version of the Justice League, right?
Mm-hmm.
So Warner Brothers gave him $10 million extra dollars, and they're like, go ahead and finish your movie. Finish the Justice League. And he finished the movie, and he released a 4-hour cut of this movie on HBO Max. And it's fine. It's whatever. I don't really care for Zack Snyder that much. The movie's fine. My thing, though, and why I said speaking about kids, is the Zack Snyder cut of the Justice League. It's rated R. And that's just fucking weird to me that I can't, like, watch Superman with my child,
Why is it rated R? Is it, I mean, when a movie gets a rating of R these days, there's got to be some nudity, there's got to be frontal, there's got to be boobies, there's got to be something. What was it?
It's pretty gratuitous. Like, there's a lot of blood. Like, Wonder Woman straight up, like, throws a dude at the wall and he, like, crumples up. And Cyborg says fuck and Batman says fuck. So that's 2 F-bombs. You only get 1 in a PG-13 rating. But there's a lot of blood. It's a bit gratuitous, actually. That's why I got an R.
That brings me to my thought, too, that I had earlier this week. I understand that there are movies that movies have ratings, and those ratings have ages tied to them, as you mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
There are every time I've gone to a theater, and we've talked about movies and theater going a lot on this show, and you are a theater buff, movie theater buff, and
True.
I trip into a movie theater every once in a while prior to the pandemic. After the pandemic, I don't think I'll probably ever trip into a movie theater ever again. Nevertheless,
I'm dying to go back.
I'm sure you are, and I can imagine because Governor Douche-Nozzle has opened them wide up for you.
I haven't gone yet, even though I am vaccinated. I haven't gone.
Smart on you. Nevertheless, movies have ratings, and those ratings have ages. Do you, Jake, go in? Maybe this question is, I haven't had an answer to this question yet. Maybe this is perfect for you because you are a movie theater attendee. Do movie theaters still impose the age limit on certain rated movies? Because I see when I've gone to the theater, it almost seems like there's a 12-year-old at the window that I don't think that guy's going to have the balls to say, hey, you little 10-year-old, you can't get in to see an R-rated movie, or you 9-year-old, you can't get in to see a PG-13 movie because kids that young go to theaters by themselves pre-pandemic. So do
Yeah.
theaters still enforce the movie rated age limits?
Yeah, I don't know. Like,
Have
I
you
mean,
ever seen it done?
It's hard for me to say just because I'm a grown man as well.
Yeah, you
ever
are.
since I grew the beard out, they don't really check my ID anymore. But like,
have you ever seen them do it? Have you ever seen someone at a theater check someone?
So when I was a young lad, teenager, 10 years ago or whatever.
10, 15 minutes ago.
Yeah. No one ever checks for PG-13. I think that's just sort of like, go ahead, go see your movie. If you're able to go to a movie by yourself, go see a PG-13 movie, whatever. I think that's fair.
Right.
I watch PG-13 movies with, my 7-year-old nephew. The Marvel movies are PG-13, and you watch those with kids, whatever. I don't think that's that big of an issue.
But in theaters, in a theater is the question.
Yeah, I think if you're old enough to go to a movie theater by yourself, you're probably allowed to watch a PG-13 movie. Even if you're 9?
What if you're 13 and you want to go see an R-rated movie? Are the theaters imposing
that? I think they probably still are a little strict on. It probably does depend on the theater for sure and like who's working. But like, I remember I saw some movie at midnight a while ago. I don't even remember what it was, but there were people standing at the door, like, and if you looked young, they would check your ID. So I think they still check.
I've never seen it. I remember the days where, if you wanted to see a movie that you weren't age appropriate for, you would have to get your parents to go with you.
They'd have to like walk you up and then.
Yeah. I remember when I was a young warthog, my parents having to do that for me a couple of times. And then when my older sister became of age, she did it. The few times that I went to see movies, this is how old I am, back at the Arizona Center in downtown Phoenix is where I went to see movies, because that was the hopping spot back in the day. But I was thinking that these days, I'm like, I don't know if the little 10-year-old ticket taker at the door
They're
of
the same age
Harkins,
though, Cory. They're the same age now as they were then. You're
right,
just older.
Yeah, I am just older. I'm older and slower. But I don't see.
I keep getting older. They stay the same age.
I don't see the ticket takers at the front door of the Harkins or the Amp asking to see somebody's ID for a movie. I don't even know, dude. Most of the times that I've gone to the theater, I've walked into the theater, I've handed my ticket to the ticket taker, and they just rip the ticket. They look and see what theater I'm in, and they direct me to the theater. I don't even know if they're looking at what movie I'm actually going to see. So I don't know how much policing is being done or how much enforcement is being done behind age appropriate movies.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm sure they do, depending on the movie. Like I remember that's what it was. It was Deadpool. I went and saw Deadpool 2, and they were definitely checking kids. Like I saw a few kids get kicked out, so it definitely still happens.
I mean, it'd be a great social experiment to get like a 9-year-old and have them go in there and try to buy movies to
I was
40-year-old version or something.
I was very lucky as a teenager that my girlfriend in high school, when I was 16 or whatever, 15, 16, she worked at Harkins, so like, we didn't really have any issues getting into movies or whatever. We also got to see a lot of free movies, and that probably is what made me such a big movie buff, because I could just go see movies for free all the time.
So you're saying you had an inside connection? You knew a girl?
I did.
It feels pretty
also,
good,
I'm
doesn't
kind
it?
of the opinion, like I'm the dude that I watched RoboCop when I was like 6 years old, which my parents probably shouldn't have let me watch that, but I did. I'm kind of the opinion that if you're old enough to go to a movie theater by yourself, just watch the movie, dude. And like, no one cares, like.
Yeah, well, back in the day,
we all know
back
it's
in the day
make-believe.
when you were able to walk, you were old enough to go to the theaters. These days, probably not so much the case. But I just wondered that if you know, the little 12-year-old making $12 an hour sitting there ripping your tickets is actually, you know, looking at the fact that or carding someone that may look young. You say you've seen it happen. I've never seen it happen as an adult, but
Do you go to a lot of R-rated movies though?
No.
I can't think of very many R-rated movies that I've seen in theaters. And the
No.
ones that I do see in theaters are like movies that like kids don't want to go to anyway. Like I don't think a kid really wants to see The Lighthouse.
Dude,
You know?
artistically nude scenes in movies nowadays, they get PG-13 ratings. I don't know if there's a lot of R ratings that are still being handed out.
I feel like that was more the case when I was a younger lad. Like what was it? Like Mommy Dearest was rated like PG, and that movie has boobs in it.
I think movie ratings have gotten
also
very
also
lax.
Titanic is rated PG-13 and it had boobs.
It did have boobs in it.
Yeah, so I don't know.
And wet
I
t-shirts.
I feel like censorship is like super hard on like sexual content and like pretty lax on like very extreme violence. I think you could put some
more business for Pornhub.
Yeah, well, I think you could put like very extreme violence into a movie and get away with it as long as you just like make the camera go up when the guy dies or like change the blood color to purple, and it's like it's fine. You know, that's what the Marvel movies do. There's a lot of death and stuff in Marvel movies, but they get away with it because it's like the Hulk's blood is green, so it's fine.
Because he's green.
Yeah.
He's
Anyway,
a mean
let's start
green
the show.
mother from outer space. 5, 6, 7, 8.
What is up, boyos? Welcome to the Jake and Cory podcast. I'm Jake. That is Cory. What's up, Cory?
I need to unfollow some people on Twitch. They're starting to annoy me now.
Oh no, who's annoying you now? XQC.
No, okay, listen. I'm not part of the video game doohickey gadget that you have going on with the Untouchable. Known as Nick. But
yeah.
Okay, I've invested myself in this stupid GTA RP world.
Yeah, that's been blown up lately, hasn't it?
Specifically on the NoPixel server. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
So let me precede this by saying I'm a rube. I don't know shit about video games. I played Stardew Valley, and actually, Jake, sidebar, just real quick. My ability to play Stardew Valley actually played a huge role in my return to shooting NBA basketball. Maybe we'll get to that later in the show. Just a little front sale for those of you to maybe stick around, pull your pants off, and listen to the show all the way to the end. Nevertheless, I've taken a deep dive into this GTA RP on the NoPixel server. And the NoPixel server, I don't know what it is, but it's got a lot of big names on it. And a lot of the big names that I follow, like XQC, Greek God X, Blastoise, Sykkuno, who recently just joined onto it. But it's also introduced me to new players like Lipsian and Whippy. And these guys are all Twitch streamers and the only reason why I know, and those names are right over your head. And the reason why is because
I know Sykkuno, that's about it.
So Whippy and Lipsian, prior to playing on the NoPixel server, were like, 20 watcher Andys. You know what I mean? But their RP characters interacted and created a storyline with big streamers like XQC and Sykkuno, and that blew up their Twitch.
Yeah, that's the move, yeah.
Yeah, that blew up their Twitch. Well, GTA on the NoPixel server is starting to hit a bump. Now, XQC has been an absolute ass face on this server. And Jake, I called it last week. I think it was right after we were done taping the show. I sent you an inappropriate picture along with a text message that said XQC has been banned from the NoPixel server. It's his second ban. His second ban in a month. I thought it was only for 3 days. It ended up being an entire week. They kicked his little scrawny ass off for an entire week. And he gets back on it this week. He didn't care. It didn't affect him. His numbers were still the same. He played a whole lot of fucking Minecraft. My hate for Minecraft grew just watching it. But what happened is that
I love Minecraft.
The character development on the NoPixel server went in another direction away from XQC's character. But put all that aside, what I'm starting to see is that these motherfuckers are starting to take this RP shit way too fucking personal. They're taking it way too fucking far.
Or is it just that's part of the plan? Add the drama.
Here's the thing, Jake. The drama is spilling outside of the NoPixel server. There are now, Whippy is a Twitch streamer that had a bond with XQC. And their characters, XQC's character is X, Whippy's character was Dundee. So X and Dundee in the RP on the server had a kinship going on. Well, while X was while X was on, how they say in RP land, on vacation on a cruise ship, Whippy was bad mouthing not only XQC's RP character, but bad mouthing XQC as a RP player. And of course, people clipped that shit off of Whippy's Twitch and sent it to XQC.
To me, XQC is like the most annoying dude. I remember when Among Us was huge. Where's that new Among Us map, by the way?
I know, right? Isn't it like 3 months behind?
Yeah, they said it was supposed to come out like February. It's almost April. But COVID, whatever. Take your time. Do what you got to do. But like, I remember when he would play Among Us, and like he'd get called out and he'd get caught, and he'd be like, "These people are idiot. They're calling me out for no reason." But it's like they caught him, and he's like, "We need new people in here. These guys are losers. This sucks." Like, he's just like the most annoying.
He's a crybaby bitch. He's an absolute crybaby bitch.
But also, if he wants to come on my show and do an interview, that's fine. I'll retract everything I just said.
I wouldn't retract anything that I said. You wouldn't want him on your show because
I'm down to sell out. I don't care.
He's very difficult to communicate with, and you can see that in his RP play.
But I also think that's why he's so big, though, right? Because like, he does cause a lot of drama, and I think
I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is about him that has made him garner the success. The only explanation that I can come up with is that he dumb fell. And what I say by dumb fell, I say he's just dumb enough that he fell into success. He's very young. He's a crybaby little bitch, and he cries throughout his RP play in Grand Theft Auto.
People are just like, that's good drama. And
when he's literally driving in GTA on the NoPixel server, he's driving in GTA. He looks down to read his chat. He hears the crash happen in his ears, and he's pissed off at the locals. He's pissed off at the automated server pieces that are just there to fill the game.
The NPCs.
Knowing damn well the reason why he crashed was because so these guys that built these relationships on the server are now Whippy hammered XQC and his gameplay off the server. But and Whippy started doing that after Whippy's character Dundee was able to connect with Sykkuno's character Uno. So Whippy has now been branded amongst the Twitch streamers as a Twitch hopper or whatever they call it. Basically, he seeks out these big Twitchers. He plays with them, and when he gets into their good graces, he blows up the spot of the previous big Twitcher. And Sykkuno, being as sweet as he is and as kind as he is, has raided Whippy so many times that Whippy has now gone from a 20-person Andy or a 20-viewer Andy to now over 6,000 to 9,000 viewer Andy. And now he has literally thrown that up against the faces of the other small little Twitch streamers that are on the NoPixel server. So now none of those guys want to even RP with Whippy's character Dundee. The drama is thick on the NoPixel server.
I don't understand the drama because it just sounds like he's playing the game, you know?
No, Jake, him slamming XQC was not just slamming XQC's character X.
But when I say the game, I don't mean
XQC
GTA.
Outside of GTA.
When I say the game, I don't mean GTA. I mean he's playing the game. You know what I mean?
The Twitch game.
Like he's playing the game, dude, and it worked because he went from 20 to 6,000. Can you blame the guy?
I mean
shit.
It's trashy though. But then when you're in the NoPixel server,
but also has he started talking shit about Sykkuno as well?
He hasn't started talking sick about Sykkuno because he hasn't found another big streamer to
But also
blow.
like. I think if I were like hanging out with XQC and I'm like having a good time, and then all of a sudden XQC's acting like an ass, and then XQC gets banned, I'd probably talk some shit. It's like, fuck that guy. I'm hanging out with Sykkuno now. Fuck XQC. You know, like.
But to take it outside,
I don't have the full context, obviously, but
to take what I'm saying is that they're taking this RP play outside of the RP, where Twitch streamers in their personal right are contacting NoPixel admins to get other Twitch streamers off the server.
But who do you think those admins are? It's them. They run the server.
See, I didn't know that.
Part of it.
I didn't know that.
Part of it.
It's just fucking crazy. But dude, back in when this first started, the X, Y, and Z character of XQC, I only know them by XQC, who had the character of X, Lycium, who had the character of Mr. B, and Whippy, who had the character of Dundee. That was straight up the best freaking RP to me when those three characters inhabited each other. Because you got X, who is a freaking bottle rocket crazy tied to a string. You got Dundee, who encourages X's craziness and rampagedness and supports him taking cop cars and driving them into the sea, which X is referred to as the Kraken. And then you got Mr. B, who's trying to be the referee and ringleader to keep all these guys together to actually organize, do organized crime so that they can all get their comeuppance. Now, all three of them are fractured apart. All of them are tens of thousands of dollars in debt in the game, and none of them are interacting with each other. Now, Greek God X's character, who I loved from the beginning, he had a character named Tete, and it was an old black guy. And Greek God X is a young freaking English boy. So him playing a black old character in the RP world on the NoPixel server was fucking hilarious. But Greek God X his character was so lovable and affable that no one else on the server took his character as serious. So when he tried to morph his character into more of a serious person, able to do crime, able to hold down jobs, able to accomplish things, no one on the server took him seriously. So Greek God X took it personally and banned himself from the fucking server.
It sounds like it's just part of it.
Dude. And now just talk shit about it. But here's the interesting thing. Greek God X was a 12,000, 15,000 watcher Andy. Ever since he's thrown a fit about the NoPixel server, he's now down to a 4,000, 6,000 viewer Andy.
Greek
so
God
he's no, not Greek God. Yeah, Greek God X. Yeah, he's fallen from where he was when he was on the server. And now all of his streams are just him talking shit over YouTube videos about the NoPixel server. So it's just like it just seems like all of this shit is leaking outside of the NoPixel server, and these little fuckers that are across the world are just taking this shit too seriously. And it's a little unfair because there are some people that are playing on the NoPixel server that seem to have high priority, that seem to be in the right places at the right time at all times, that are able to get all the laptops, that are able to get all the dongles, that are able to successfully pull off a bank heist, that are able to now buy businesses and houses and cars. And then you've got other characters that, you know, just, I guess, don't have that knowledge base or whatever. And it's kind of like, it's a doggy dog world, and it's gotten even rougher, you know, watching this RP. But you know what?
It all confuses me because I've played GTA Online, and like I've got like like $20 million. Like,
who was your character? What was your character? What was your RP character?
My RP character? I don't know. I didn't really RP that much. It was just like,
oh, okay.
I just had like a dude that had like a top hat and like purple hair.
Now, Jake, if I had a more powerful gaming computer,
yeah,
I would totally be filling out an application to be on. Dude, I think that I would be a really good RPer. I think I would be really good at RPing.
Dude, it reminds me of back in the day, there was this game called Gary's Mod, which it was literally like, this game was insane. Like, it took everything from this that was made on the Source engine, which is like Counter-Strike, Portal, Half-Life. I don't know if you know what those are.
No.
They're games. But It took all of the assets and stuff from those games, Team Fortress, you know, all those games, and basically you could do whatever you want. You could make rooms, you could manipulate things. There was a gravity gun so like people would make different servers, and there were like RP servers where you'd like you'd go into this server and you'd be like, hello, I would like to RP with you. Would you like to have sex behind this trash can? And then you just like that was the shit, dude. Like,
there's only sex happening on the who has their own GTA server. It's a rapper, and he has his own GTA server.
T-Pain?
I don't know if it's T-Pain. I'm not sure if it's.
I know T-Pain.
If it's T-Pain, it's, I can't remember what his name is. I can't remember if it's T-Pain.
I know T-Pain is like big into Twitch, so.
But nevertheless, he has his own server, and you go on his server, and there's just some raunchy shit happening there. Number one, it's all black people, all black characters. I don't know how he did it, but on this server, all the women characters have the biggest badonkadonks.
Dude, I want to be on that server. I can be like, I'll be the one white dude. I'll be like the Piper Perry of that group.
I don't know, dude, but I'm in on this. XQC is a little crybaby bitch. He really is. But like a train wreck, I can't
watch
look
any
away.
of these streamers, dude. Like my one real connection to that group of people, and he's like so loosely connected, is Hassan, because I watch Hassan from time to time because I like his politics stream.
Hassan owns the does he own the casino, or he owns the gallery on the NoPixel
see, like
server?
when Hassan is doing like video game shit, I don't even care. Like, I don't even watch it because I'm like, I don't care about this. I'll just go play GTA.
But XQC is like, he's just so absolutely annoying. And the one thing that I cannot stand watching these streams, and this is everybody, is when they go and change clothes. I can't sit there for that. It's just click, 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 back, 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 click, 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 back, 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 and then what do you think of this, chat? Click, 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 back, 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 click. I'm like, oh my fucking word! Just pick an outfit and go back out there and watch and play the fucking game.
Here's what we're going to do. When I get my PS5, whenever the fuck that is, I'm going to give you my PS4 and we're going to play some GTA together. It's going to be a good time.
I need to be an RPA. I need to be on a server.
Well, we can RP together. We'll just get
just me and you running around fucking Los Santos?
Yeah. We'll just run around Los Santos.
All right. I got dibs on Burger Shot.
We could kill bitches and,
and
eat hoes.
And then XQC's play. Character X, he's back on the server now doing the same shit he was doing before. And what bothers me, and it's so fucking annoying, dude, he will be playing a game on his way to rob a bank after he got or rob a house after he got a job from the boss man. He'll be on his way driving in a stolen van to go rob a house. He's following the map. And if he sees a police disturbance or he sees the police interacting with someone on the side of the road, this motherfucker pulls over and goes right up to the cops and fucks with them, gets their attention. He ends up getting arrested, gets thrown in jail, and now he's $9,000 even further in the hole, and he doesn't understand why. It drives me insane. Then he gets out of jail. And number one, they've taken his driver's license away. He doesn't even have a fucking driver's license in a game that is built on driving. They've taken his driver's license away.
How does that work? How did they do that?
They did, dude. He went to a bench trial one time and talked himself into so many damn circles. The fucking judge took his driver's license away.
Really
when he opens up his phone and looks at his license, it says nothing. It has nothing on it.
So it's like Dungeons and Dragons, but Grand Theft Auto. So like it's a lot of just saying things, and
it's I don't know if this is just the way that I've seen him play other games, and yeah, he's a little crybaby bitch. But man, he wants to go at everything alone. He goes to a house, he robs the house, picks up all the items, drops them at the door. When he can't drive for shit in the game. So the cops have no problem finding what house he's in because the front driveway of the house has tire marks all over it and a half beaten up car or a half beaten up truck. And then he doesn't understand why the cops keep arresting him. And here's how I know that the Twitch streamers that are on this server are fucking with XQC. When they arrest him, they will put him in the back of the car in handcuffs, completely rendering his RP useless. He can't do anything but talk. And they slowly drive him around the entire map of Los Santos. They slowly drive him around. They won't take him to the jail in downtown. They'll take him to the jail all the way out in Polito. And he spent an hour real time in this cop car that wouldn't go any faster than 35 miles per hour.
These guys need to play The Last of Us. Fucking
That's RP. That's RP murder, man. That's RP murder. But anyway, I've stopped following Whippy because he's just slamming too many people. He's a glommer honor. If it wasn't for Sykkuno, he wouldn't have the success that he has. But you're telling me that that's how Twitchers play the game. So I guess that's how Twitchers play the game.
I don't know. I really don't know.
I think it's a bitch ass way, but that's just me.
You're talking about it, and I think that's what they want, right? So.
Yeah, that's true. I did just do 20 minutes on them, so I'm done with it. But whatever.
I wanted to bring this up on the show.
Please.
I had a fucking gas leak at my house, dude.
I
had a gas leak here. Possibly still happening. I am feeling a little lightheaded right now. I'm kidding. We got it fixed.
Oh.
But it was
what?
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Mm-hmm.
No, I think we have an extra bit of delay tonight.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Yeah, it was weird, man. So like I was out at work and I was working late or whatever, and my roommate, who's also my sister, she calls me and she's like, "Hey, smells like gas in here. Did it smell like gas when you left today?" And I'm like, no. So she called the gas company in Phoenix or whatever, and well, first she messaged our apartment, and this is where it gets a little fucking weird, right?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
She messages the apartment lady, and the lady's like, "Oh yeah, go ahead and call Southwest Gas or whatever." And she's like, "Okay." She called Southwest Gas. The gas guy showed up, and he looked annoyed because it's like late at night, and he starts walking up the steps, and he's like, "Whoa," because he could smell it walking up the steps to our apartment, and he's like, "I don't know why you called me. You should have called 911."
It was that strong of a smell, and gas is a rotten egg smell. Even though gas actually does not have a smell, they add the rotten egg smell so that you can Fine, gas leaks.
Yeah. Well, he's like, you should have called 911 and you need to
Evacuate
get out of
the building.
Yeah, you need to get out of here right now. And then like and he called the maintenance people over, and they found that our water system is right next to our gas line, and it turns out that there was a leak in our water system just dripping on our gas line.
No.
And it just created a huge hole in our gas line. And we had a small little dog in there, and the guy kept saying, "Oh, he's got tiny lungs. He couldn't have taken it much longer."
Oh my God!
Man, what the fuck?
Your apartment's almost killed your dog.
So then we had to like find a place to go. I went and stayed with my dad,
Now I'm gonna, if I may, real quick, I will say
please.
that I did when Jake texted me this.
That's true.
I was a big friend with no alternative motives, and I offered Jake. I was like, "Hey, do you need to crash here? Because you can't be there at your place. If you need to crash here, you can crash. You can crash in my place, whatever it is." That was me being an actual true friend, because when
I appreciate
that's one. It's one of the reasons why I have the.
Or if you had a gas leak at your place, you could definitely stay on my patio.
Yeah, on your patio, you son of a bitch. Just put me out there with the dog. You know what, Jake? You're right. I did have an alternative motive offering you to crash my
dog
place.
stays inside, actually.
I was going to wait till your ass fell asleep, and I was going to be the wandering finger.
Oh, no.
Put me on the fucking patio.
But yeah, then we like contacted the apartment people, and they were like really dismissive about it. They were like, "Oh yeah, it's no big deal. It happens all the time." And we're like, "What? Like that happens all the time?" Apparently, the entire apartment complex has this same water drippage issue. And we're like, dude, and they've upgraded half of the apartment complex into electric stoves and stuff. And we're like, we kind of want to be like moved into one of those units. We don't because they kept saying to us like, yeah, it could happen again. And we're like,
oh my God,
we don't really want to deal with that. Can you move us to like a different unit? And they're like, no, we'll fix it, and you just have to deal with it. So,
dude,
that was kind of the end of story. Like,
I am impressed that you have a residence that has gas. Gas isn't very popular in Arizona,
especially in Phoenix.
Yeah, a lot of and that's one thing that I don't like about my house. My house is all electric, boogie woogie woogie. I don't like the fact that
I like electric. I'm down with it.
As the Instagram chef, I like fire. I really wish that I had. I mean, and you can convert your house to gas, but then it has to be all self-contained. You have to. I think you have to get like a commercial sized tank attached to your house. It has to be approved and zoned properly and installed, and you have to get all these permits in order to do it, but it's rather expensive.
Or you could just buy a little gas stove that you take on camping trips, and there you go.
I love those too, but there's something different about cooking over a flame than there is cooking over what a lot of us have, these new electric induction stoves. And I mean, they work within their right, but there's something that you just can't get away from when it comes to cooking over an open flame.
To me, it seems it's always inconsistent. At least maybe our stove is just old or something, but like, man, it just always seems like inconsistent on what's
it
could have been because we had a fucking gas leak that it was inconsistent.
I was thoroughly concerned for your safety. I literally was concerned for your safety, and as I would be with anyone that tells me this, you know what I mean? I have a guest room now that I'm an empty nester. My son has informed me that after this semester of college, he will not be returning home. He will be getting an apartment with some fellow friends of his in Tempe, Arizona.
Well, good for him, man.
Awesome. I'm very proud of him, and the only thing is that he can't keep shopping for shit for his apartment in my house. Just because he sees something in my house doesn't mean that he can say, "Hey, pops, can I have that?" And my middle child, Aiden, my stolen middle child, Aiden, is doing the exact same thing because he's getting an apartment too. And he stopped by a couple of weeks ago. We were masked up in social distance the whole time, and he was like, "So, what are you gonna do with that couch?" I'm like, "Bruh, this is not Home Goods. This is my home." My home.
Pretty nice TV you got hanging up there.
Yeah, he was trying to make.
Looking for one of them.
He was trying to put dibs on TVs, dibs on the furniture, dibs on artwork. I'm like, what the fuck? But I guess that's the rite of passage for your kids. But anybody that would have called me and said that they were in your situation,
part of the dad experience.
Yeah, it is. It's part of the dad card. It's in the book.
There's two main things when it comes to, or there's three main things when it comes to being a dad. And I say this as someone with a dad, not as someone who is a dad. First rule number one, or first experience of being a dad is your kids will control the radio in the car. That's going to happen. Second thing that happens is they will ask you for money. That's going to happen. And three, they will just try to take your shit without asking.
Let's harken back. Let's harken back to number 2, Jake. My kids, when they all went out, I have 4. 3 stolen. 1, I think I may have created. 4 of them, when they got their own little bank accounts, when they were like 16 or 17 years old, got them at whatever little bank that their other friends were. Now that they're all older, everybody's 19 through 23 now. Now that they're older, they all have the same bank I have. Why, you ask? It's easier for me to transfer money to.
Just transfer. Well, with Zelle and Venmo, it's pretty easy.
Nope, they all went to my bank. They all switched over to my bank, and I believe that they did it for the purpose of me being able to transfer their money easier and simpler. Because literally,
dude,
Jake, they can be on the phone with me on speaker. I will have my bank app open, and before we even hang up, I've sent them the money that they were asking for.
I remember being my first year in college. I moved away from home. I grew up in Phoenix, went to college in Flagstaff, and for people who don't know, that's like 2 hours away from home for me. So not too far, but far enough away to feel the distance from home or whatever.
Feel the distance.
Yeah, you feel it. Like, you can't just run over to dad's house real quick, But I was about to start classes, or I had started classes, and they're like, "Hey, you need these books." And I went to go pick up the books, and I'm like, "Oh shit, I don't have enough money for these books." And I remember it vividly and like almost breaking down into tears. I'm like, "I don't have the money for this." I was working my ass off at Burger King, and I was just like, "I don't have the money to buy these books." And I remember like calling my dad, like nearly in tears. I'm like, "Dad, I need help, man." And he just sent me money. That's what dads are all about. That's what they're there for.
My kid has literally, before he started his job at Starbucks.
Not that dads are just money, but like they're.
No, we are piñatas, and you guys are you guys have the sticks. My kid was literally standing in Walmart looking at non-slip shoes that he needed for his job. Realized that he went to the checkout counter, tried to buy them, and his card kept getting declined because he didn't have enough money because some stupid video game subscription went in and took out their money, and he forgot that they were.
Dude, I've been Netflixed before myself. It's happened.
He's standing at the freaking checkout line and calls me. "Pops, I'm stuck. I'm at Walmart. I'm at the checkout counter." I mean, I hear it in the background. "Pick up on aisle 47. I hear the Walmart in the background of his phone. And I'm like, "Dude, are you literally standing at the checkout stand?" He's like, "Yeah, I'm standing right here." And so, of course, me being me, I fucks with him. "How many people are behind you, son? How many people are in the line?" He's like, 3. I'm like, "Are they mad and scowling at you right now?" He's like, yeah, can you stop asking me questions and just send me the money so I can check out? I'm like, "What's the checkout lady's name?" So I milk him for about another 3 minutes. And the whole time I'm doing it, I have my app open and I'm putting the money into his account as he stood there. But I'm like, "Your little dumb ass didn't budget right. So I'm going to sit here and fucks with you because That's just who I am. If I'm sending you $30, I'm about to get $45 worth of entertainment out your little young, non-prepared ass. That's what I'm going to do. I do it with all of them except for Sydney, except for my little girl. My little girl calls me. If she wants something, before she even finishes and catches a breath, she's got it. I'm just that guy.
Yeah. That's just how it goes, man. But yeah, it's got to bring you like a sense of pride, though. You're like,
it does, because when your kids get older and they stop asking for shit, you feel like you're not needed, and I don't like that.
I'm bored. What am I doing? Yeah,
I'm like, what am I gonna do?
My dad
all
tells
this
me
money
that all
now?
the time. My dad's like, you guys don't ask me for enough shit.
Yeah,
like, I'm just sitting here. I'm bored. I'm at the house. Like, call me. You need $100? I'm like, no, Dad, I don't.
Yeah, it's sad. I'm like, when you get to a certain age as a dad, you're like, before, when you had the kid and they depended on you for everything, you were rubbing two nickels together. Now that they're gone, you're like,
yeah,
you just got money laying around the house. Like, what the fuck am I going to do with that? Why is there a $20 bill sitting over there for no reason?
I don't need to budget like I have a kid anymore. What do I do?
I'm like, I got my electricity bill for the first time. I'm like, my electricity bill is less than $50. What the fuck? You know what I'm saying? And it's a good feeling, but then it's a bad feeling too, because, you always want that sense of being needed. So I got to find somebody else to start spoiling at this point. My little brother has two little girls. There
you go. That's it, dude.
And they're small and they're young, and when I pre-pandemic, when I would spend time with them, it's always fun because they were in that fort building stage. So we would just get a whole lot of bed sheets and sticks and extra little pieces of wood that I had laying around the garage, and we would just make these forts in the living room, and they love
Here's
that.
The exciting thing for you, though, as your kids get older, they're gonna have some kids of their own eventually, and then you get to do it all over again.
No, I want to spoil.
But this time they don't live with you, and it's just like you get to see them, you get to like spoil them. They like you. They never
sugar them up and send them home.
Yeah, they never look at you and say, "I hate you, Dad." You never have to deal with that shit.
No,
once it gets to that point, once it gets to that point, you're like, "You're going home. You can go home. I don't need."
Once it gets to that point, we're having a Kurt Franklin experience.
What does that mean?
Oh, you didn't hear about the Kurt Franklin? First off, do you know who Kurt Franklin is?
I don't. I'm sorry.
Okay, so this story is going to go over your head a little bit, but I'm
looking it up.
You know what, Jake? I'm sorry. I love you, and I love your beautiful teeth, but this is where you are really, really white right now. And that's okay, because Kurt Franklin is not someone that's really known outside.
He's a gospel musician. Of course I don't know who he is.
He's an Emmy award-winning gospel musician. Well, there was a tape that was released of him cussing out one of his sons.
Oh, okay.
One of his adult sons. And Kurt really just wailed into him. I've never spoken to my kids like that, but he really wailed into him. Something that happens a lot in the African-American community. When you cross your father, you can push your black daddy to a point where he will go completely inward on you. And that's what happened in this conversation. And the whole black community and a lot of black leaders and stuff are saying, Kurt, you don't need to apologize. His son is 30-something years old, and he spoke wrong to his father, and Kurt just lost his cool. It happens, you know what I mean? But that's why I was saying that if my kids ever were, spoke to me in a certain kind of way, we would have a Kurt Franklin experience.
Well, you never had that experience, though, where they were like teenagers and they're just like, get away from me, Dad, like, fuck you or whatever.
Luckily, no.
Not fuck you, but you know what I mean.
Luckily, no, dude. I have been blessed in that favor. AJ has always been the sensitive soul where a look would bring him to tears. A look of disappointment would bring him to tears. Aiden, my middle kid, I haven't had to go there for him, but because Aiden and I are connected on a different level as him being a middle child and me being a middle child, I know how to communicate with him a whole lot better. A lot of conversations with Aiden most often started with his mother saying, go talk to Cory. You need to talk to Cory. You know what I mean? Because we just have that connection. Sydney, she's a girl. She can do no wrong. Dominic was wiser. My oldest, Dominic, is wiser beyond his years. So he never really made a lot of stupid mistakes. So they never really presented me a situation in their teenage lives that would, push me to that point. They never ever disrespected me. They've always been very respectful. AJ is not disrespectful, but he's crafty and conniving when he wants to be. A little son of a bitch can hide shit And he doesn't think that I know when I do. You know what I'm saying? And
I know what you're saying.
And AJ, when he was growing up, we were all lived under the credence of, if you tell me up front, there's less of an impact of if I got to fucking Sherlock Holmes your shit. If I got to research it and solve the mystery with what's going on with you, we going to have a bigger problem. But if you come up from, we used to have this thing called the truth chair. And I actually still have the truth chair, as I showed Jake in my camera shot. That chair right there sitting in my game room is the truth chair. And when he was little, if he sat in that chair, he could say whatever he wanted and would not get in trouble. He could be completely honest and not get in trouble because he was sitting in the truth chair.
But then he got in a lot of trouble.
He actually didn't. Yeah, he didn't get into a lot of trouble. Or there was a lot of shit. You got in a lot of trouble. Your dad probably had to box your face in a couple of times.
No. I was a pretty laid back kid for the most part, but like there was definitely a time when I was like a teenager, you know, just like most teenagers, where I was like, I don't want to be around my parents. I don't like them. I have a girlfriend. I'm cool, whatever. I definitely had that, and look back on it like sad, you know, like remorseful now. Like, why was I like that? I was such an idiot.
My dad beat my ass. My dad did a Superman dive through a fucking window of a restaurant he owned to kick my ass in front of about 15 customers. I had a mouth on me when I was little. I had an attitude on me when I was younger. I had opinions. That's probably why I'm so good at what I do now. But I remember my dad telling me, and he coined this phrase, and I'm going to edit it for radio or for podcast because I don't like saying this word. But my dad told me, if you're going to talk to me like an N on the street, I'm going to beat your ass like an N on the street. Where my dad literally knuckled up to me at one point and punched my ass a couple of times to get his point across.
Yeah, I think my mom spanked me one time and like cried while she did it.
You are so white, Jake. You're so beautifully white. And my ass, well, I got my ass beat, man.
Also, my dad is like a fucking victim counselor, you know, and like, you know, you grow up with counselors. They're going to be like,
and you know what? And
tell me about your feelings.
And I studied.
That was almost like, abuse in and of itself.
And you know what? And I studied human behavior in school and focused on adolescence. So that's probably why I played a lot of that to the upbringing of AJ. You know what I mean? Because I don't think I've ever physically spanked AJ. I don't think I've ever physically hit his hand. Again, he's a kid where you just give him a look.
And if you did, you wouldn't say it.
I would. Oh, I would totally say it. I totally say if I beat, but my fat ass got my fat roly poly ass back in the day. Shit, I was hit with extension cords, flip flops, chanclas, shoes. My mother one time I cussed at her and we were living in a townhome upstairs, downstairs. I don't know how she did, but she took a very large bottle of petroleum jelly, also known as face grease. And she was in her room the last time I saw her. She somehow threw that son of a bitch and made it turn a corner to come down the stairs to hit me right in the smack dab middle of my head. I was a terror at some points of my adolescence. I was a terror fighting. And here's how it went in my house, Jake. Mm-hmm. I'd be pissed off at my older sister and I'd take it out on my little sister. And then my older sister would defend my little sister all the time. So when my big sister would defend my little sister, because I was the only boy in the middle of two girls, my older sister would come and protect the little sister, which would make me mad again at my little sister. Therefore, the cycle continued. That was my whole adolescence. So I couldn't beat up my older sister because she was too strong and too fast, but I could take out the little one. So all of my frustrations for the big one would go on the little one. Then the big one would protect the little one. It was just a fucking vicious circle of mess in my house because I was the only fucking boy.
Yeah, my parents were very chill. My stepdad, on the other hand, that's a different story, but I don't want to get into that right now.
Did he pull your hair, Jake? Did he pull your hair?
Yeah, well, everyone wanted to, so. Including you, Cory. So
you didn't have to say it. It was a visual cue. You didn't have to say it, Jake.
Oh, I had to say it. At the beginning of the show, you mentioned that Stardew helped you get back into the NBA swing. Elaborate.
So as people know, I am a camera operator for the
Do
Phoenix
people know?
Suns. Well, they know if they know me from any previous incarnation of a podcast that I'm a part of. I'm a camera operator for the Phoenix Suns and for Grand Canyon University, and I have not, because of the pandemic, returned to the NBA because of just me taking additional
COVID.
me taking additional protection and safety measures for myself personally. Not that I wasn't wanted. I put off returning to the NBA until after the All-Star break. Well, I had my first return back last Friday night's game. I had my first return back, and because of Arizona's current numbers and our current rate of positivity being where it is at like 5%, and us having like less than 500 cases reported in one day, and the numbers going in the direction that is good and positive, and they're
You
being
like to see it.
and there being more people vaccinated now than there are active cases and existing cases. That gave me a little bit more confidence returning to the NBA versus when I returned to NCAA at Grand Canyon University in December. Cases were a lot hotter and higher, and I worked very little. I think I worked maybe 1 or 2 games a month by choice, and that sucks financially, but it made me feel comfortable in what I was doing to protect myself and my family. So I returned to the NBA, and my return to the NBA, Jake, was not with a camera on my shoulder, which is my specialty. The camera that I was brought back to work, Jake, was a PTZ camera, one of the remote cameras that are in the Phoenix Suns arena. And in order to operate a remote camera, Jake, you have to be comfortable with operating a joystick.
Ayo.
Prior to all of this, I had no experience operating a remote camera. So my experience on having a what is this called? A game console controller. Jake, my dexterity of being comfortable working this game controller played into my ability to navigate the NBA camera PTZ controller. Because it looked very similar. It had, not exactly like it, but it was basically a joystick and buttons, and the hand dexterity that you have to have in order to control that camera effectively, because they're very sensitive instruments. I feel that if I did not start playing Stardew Valley without getting the game controller, without getting all into it, I probably would have had a little bit more of a struggle with that than I did. And when I was done working the PTZ camera last night at the Phoenix Suns arena, my director looked up at me and he says, "Wow, I didn't know you had that level of finesse with the controllers, because all of my previous work was done with the big bulky camera on my shoulder." You know what I mean? So I equate my ability to navigate that PTZ camera the way that I did to the fact that I've been playing Stardew Valley and using a controller, which I had never done before.
See, that's what I'm saying. Parents listening right now, let your kids play video games.
Hey, playing video games will help out surgeons, because surgeons now do surgeries remotely. You know what I mean? There's a running joke in the TV show Scrubs where the character Dr. Turk, wanted to play video games because it helped him with his finger mobility and dexterity when he was performing surgery. And I will say I had a calmer hand manipulating that PTZ camera control for the first time ever. And it was really cool. And I got to work in the upstairs control room. I wasn't on the floor of the Suns game. I got a chance to work the upstairs in the control room for the game. And I know this is going to be visual, but Jake, you probably have never seen this, but this is the upstairs control room of the Phoenix Suns.
Sick.
And it's just miles and miles of monitors. You know what I'm saying?
Does the guy stand up there? The guy that's like, all right, and
no,
and
this picture that I'm showing you is a up shot. There's 3 rows there. Everybody's normally sitting down. Everybody's normally sitting down. And then the big video wall in the back, way in the back, right in front of that video wall is where the director sits. But that's what it looks like in the skybox that's way up at the top of the Phoenix Suns Arena, formerly known as the Talking Stick Resort Arena, formerly known as the Casino Arizona Arena, formerly known as America West Arena.
So I'm sure you've got some buddies over there. Did any of them get sent to Florida or whatever? Was it just the Florida crew?
It was just the Florida crew when the NBA bubble was happening. That's what you're referring to?
Curious. Yeah, I'm kind of curious about that.
The way that the broadcast crew did the NBA bubble is that all of our broadcasters, the voices that you heard on the game, were here in Phoenix, and they were receiving a feed from Florida, because the Florida crew was the same crew throughout the entire NBA bubble.
Right, they're in the bubble too, I'm sure.
Yeah, they're in the bubble. They're being COVID tested. Now, if I would have worked the game last night and I would have been on camera down on the floor, I would have had to go through a rapid test. They rapid test everyone that works on the floor of the NBA. So all of the players, all the coaching staff, all of the game ops guys that are sitting down there are they're rapid COVID tested, and and that was my first time in the arena last night, and it was very stringent. Everything was very tight. There's markers on the floor for where you need to go in order to get to what department and what group. Your badge is like a color coordinated badge so that security can tell what level you're supposed to be on. Because it was my first time in the remodeled arena, I didn't know exactly where I was going when I went through security. And it was 2 seconds before some security guard was on me stating, "You're in an unauthorized area. Where do you need to go?" And then he redirected me to where I needed to go. Because
you're shit, bitch, I don't know.
Yeah, I'm this is my first time here. I says, I've been working for you guys for 6 years, but this is my first time in the new arena. So I didn't get a chance to go into the bowl at all. I didn't get a chance to go into the lobby or anything because I was really nervous about working a PTZ camera for the first time. So when I first got there, my director gave me a 3-minute tutorial of the PTZ system, and then the rest of it I had to fucking figure out. And unfortunately, that sounds harsh, but that's the way it happens in the pros. They expect you to find a way to make that shit work. And I got a lot more comfortable with it because of the fact that I've been playing Stardew Valley with a controller.
So excuse my ignorance.
That's okay.
But basketball started up again?
Jesus Christ, Jake. Basketball started last year. No, in December, and it's almost over.
I have no idea.
But I know you're not a big basketball fan, but I am. Well,
even sports that I am a fan of, I don't know. I guess I like football a little bit.
But I nerd out. I nerd out when it comes to that kind of stuff.
Even when football is about to start, I'm like, oh shit, football's I don't know when football starts. I know it's towards the end-ish of the year. I don't really
now that's
know.
Where you lose me. You lose me at football. No clue.
Yeah.
Baseball, even further. Couldn't tell you a damn thing. I was watching something on TV earlier today because
I know I like watching those games. I just don't know the seasons or the players.
Yeah,
or
I saw a rugby game that was watching me earlier on TV as I was doing some shit, and it was just all I was noticing is that there was a whole lot of men hugging each other trying to fight over a ball. That's all.
Yeah, I don't know rugby at all. But I know the rules of basketball, and I know the rules of baseball. I just don't know when the season starts or
I don't even know the rules, man. You got me on the rules. Fuck all that shit. Basketball,
Football does have a lot of weird rules, but basketball has a lot of weird rules too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But I love it because I get to be there.
Double dribble still confuses me. I don't quite understand what a double dribble is.
Double dribble still confuses players. That's why they keep doing it.
I used to play basketball, and they'd be like, double dribble, and I'm like, I guess. I thought I was just playing.
I can't play it. I can't play. I can't even dribble a ball.
I can't play anymore. I played a lot when I was the peewees,
When you were 7 or 8 yesterday?
I was in fourth grade or whatever, 4th, 5th grade playing basketball, and I stopped playing when I was running upfield and I had a like a breakaway, and the dude was like passing me the ball. The ball went through my hands and just hit me straight in the face.
Oh, not
and
the money maker.
And I'm like, I don't think I want to play basketball anymore. Yeah, that's when I stopped playing.
So you're saying you stopped playing when you took balls to the face?
Yeah, and funny enough, I stopped playing baseball for about the same reason. I played baseball for a bit longer. Like, I was pretty good at baseball. I was like, I was the catcher. I was also the right fielder. And same thing. It was during practice, and, I'm practicing my batting, and the coach throws it, hits me square in the fucking face, and he's like, oh, God. And then he's like, see, this is why we always wear a helmet when we go up to bat. And I'm like, you motherfucker, you just hit me in the face, man.
You just hit me in the face, motherfucker. How dare you bitch ass
I'm like,
bitch.
I don't want to play this anymore. And then high school came, and I did wrestling, and I liked that, but it was also and the reason I stopped wrestling was because I ended up getting ringworm, and I'm like, I don't think I want to wrestle anymore. Yeah,
they wanted me to get into wrestling because I was fat, but I'm like, you know what? I'm fat and I don't care. That's the element that you're missing. I don't care, and I was lazy as a kid.
To get you into shape.
Yeah, they were just trying to get me into shape, and I'm like, I'm fine with my shape. My shape is a circle.
Yeah, I was a little skinny guy, so I think they were doing the same thing with me, where they're like, you should like
Jake,
put some muscle on you.
Do you have any young pictures of you? I want to see young.
I'm sure.
I want to see young Jake. Next time you go over your folks' place, send me a picture of young Jake. I want to see what.
Well,
Jake
I'm of the age where I've had Facebook for long enough that there might be some young photos of me on fucking Facebook.
I don't go on Facebook much.
I don't. Yeah.
I want to see young Jake.
I'm more of a Twitter user these days. I like scrolling Twitter. It's more fun. There's a lot more action going on Twitter.
My kid told me that I need to get better at Twitter. Dude, you know what? With Fat Guy Radio Show and all the social media that we have to do for Fat Guy,
you guys are killing it over on Instagram, though.
Yeah, but fuck, dude. We're killing it on Instagram, but like our personal pages suffer because, we're focused on Instagram. We got three or four people that run our Instagram page. Everybody, 3 or 4 people have access to our Instagram. 3 or 4 people post Instagram shit,
yeah, Facebook
but it's a fucking job and a half, man.
Facebook for like public figures or whatever is just like, it's like an empty pit. Like it's impossible to get your page seen on Facebook.
It's a hit and miss, dude. Man, there are things that we'll post that blow up, and then there's things that we'll post that.
The reason is, like, if you don't pay for like the boosted stuff on Facebook, like you won't get seen on people's feeds.
But even when you do, man, I think you were even part of Fat Guy Radio Show when we did. We would pay Facebook. We had a budget for a yearly amount of money that we were going to pay for Facebook advertising, and that shit still don't work, man. Facebook is exhausting.
Facebook at this point is just like where the boomers go to like hang out. I go on there sometimes and like post some stuff just to rile up my family or whatever,
or to get blocked by your grams.
Yeah, that happened.
But I don't do my personal pages. I have them, but I don't do anything with them, man, because there's so much focus put on the Fat Guy shit. You know what I mean? So that's the bread and butter. So that's what we stick with.
Yeah, Twitter is more fun to me just because it's like, I don't get the sense of like, on Facebook how like people post things like I'm high and mighty, look at my perfect life sort of posts. Like that's Facebook. That's also Instagram where they're like, look at my beautiful family, look at all this shit. I don't get that sense on Twitter. Twitter is just like, it's like the Las Vegas of social medias where they're like, we just come here to be our worst, baby. We came here to meme. We came here to be stupid and post like really offensive shit.
And Twitter has like nudes. Twitter has nudity.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Where it's like I can follow Instagram models, which I do, and that's great. But I can follow, some more scantily clad models over on Twitter and have a good time.
Now, Jake, you probably don't do the creepy move that I do, but when I'm on Instagram and I see one of those sponsored links, and it's a sponsored link with a picture of someone that may be pushing the envelope, do you then take a deep dive to see if they do have a Twitter account?
Sometimes, yeah. Sometimes.
I do it too, dude. And you know what? 9 out of 10 times when you open up that Twitter account, I be praying and shouting for baby black Jesus when I open up their Twitter page and their link is not back to Instagram, but a link to their OnlyFans page.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Dude,
now you know it's time to go over to media and scroll through those pictures because it's going to get juicier.
Did you know OnlyFans now, like, you can't look people up on OnlyFans? The only way to get to their OnlyFans account is to have a link to their OnlyFans?
Really?
Yeah, isn't that ridiculous?
That is ridiculous. And I will make this confession.
It's for like anonymity reasons, but like
that's stupid.
Man,
There's
that's
no such
stupid.
thing as anonymity on the internet. I will admit this though. There was someone that I have encountered personally that I knew had an OnlyFans page. And I've never subscribed because I was like, you know what? I don't want to see that aspect of this individual.
That aspect?
Aspect of this individual. Well, there were a couple of Instagram posts that I saw that just pushed me, and I had to investigate. So I bought in, and I subscribed to them. Now, my OnlyFans account is very anonymical. It would be impossible to tie it back to me other than the credit card that says Cory Blaze on it. But I signed into and subscribed to this individual's page thinking that it was going to lead to a wormhole of interesting things. And it was the most blandest shit I have ever seen on OnlyFans. A complete fucking letdown. And you can't get your money back after you hit that fucking subscribe button. And because I don't want this individual to know that I had looked up the page, I'm not going to bitch and complain. I'm just going to fucking eat the $12. And as soon as I subscribed, I scrolled through. Didn't see anything and completely hit the unsubscribe. And then with OnlyFans, it locks you in there for a month because they don't give you your money back. You're just there for a month. So I'm like, that was worth it. So it was all hype, and the hype machine worked, and there was no payout at the end. I was disappointed.
So that does bring up like an interesting question, like with you know, let's say you have like some friends and like you guys have been close for a long time, and like, is it inappropriate to subscribe to their OnlyFans if you're like close to these people, and you know, like, not to like beat off to your friend or whatever, just to like support them or whatever?
I don't think so.
Is that inappropriate? I don't know. It's weird. I think there's a weird line there.
I don't think it's inappropriate.
I don't know where that line is, but
I don't care where that line is. I don't think it's inappropriate because of the fact that I am a voyeur. If you're going to show me, I am going to look. So I may be coming from a space that you know, the average person isn't. But if you're going to show me, I am going to look. Bottom line. I'm a voyeur.
Now, here's a question. Let's say you're in a committed, you know, monogamous relationship with someone.
You lost me.
Married. That's why I said let's say.
Okay.
Let's say.
Oh, we're pretending.
Like, yeah. I'm being like Ben Shapiro here. Let's say let's say for the sake of argument.
Oh God.
For the sake of argument, let's say, you know, you're in a good, wholesome Christian relationship.
Oh God, why you got to put the Christian spin on it? I'm out.
Is it okay for your partner to be upset that you're like subscribed to people's OnlyFans?
It depends on the relationship, man.
Yeah, it always does, I guess. Huh?
It depends on the relationship.
My argument. Or not argument. My stance would probably be like, I'm okay with you being subscribed to their OnlyFans, but are you like chatting with them on OnlyFans? Because that's like a big part of OnlyFans, right? Is like
I don't
having
chat with
access.
any other people that I follow on OnlyFans.
You may not, but like that is a big part of OnlyFans for some people, where you can like actually interact with these people and like they'll talk dirty to you or whatever. Maybe that's the line. I don't know. I guess you're right. It does depend on
it depends on the relationship. Now, if I was pretending, if I was in a relationship, a committed monogamous relationship, I would think that the individual in the relationship with me would know and understand that if my concept of if you're going to show me, I'm going to look. And hopefully they would understand that, or we probably wouldn't even be.
How would you feel if your
relationship.
significant other was like looking at
If they're going, if
someone's
you know
OnlyFans?
what, personally, if I was with someone and they said, hey, if someone's going to show me, I'm going to look, and because I feel that same way, then I think it's something that I would,
But let's
I would
say
be okay.
they didn't
because,
even communicate it. Let's say they didn't communicate
well,
it.
that's
and
what
they
that's where I was about to get
subscribe.
to. I think there's a
Yeah.
difference. I think the line for me personally would be that communication and additional action. Now, if you're just sitting there looking and observing, you know what I mean? That's one thing. But if you're looking, observing, and engaging, that
Right.
to me tells me that you're looking for something that doesn't currently exist in our relationship. But I have to harken back to how I truly feel. I'm not in that relationship. You know, if I was,
Neither of us are in a relationship.
right, if I was in that, if I was in a relationship, I would hope that my relationship would be fulfilled enough where I wouldn't have to seek out additional information. But if someone's willing to show me, I'm going to look. But I think that if I got into a committed relationship, like if things ever took off, I was going to go down a rabbit hole right now, but I'm going to go ahead and back out of it. But nevertheless, if I was in a committed relationship, I believe that I would be comfortable enough to eliminate that if it was with someone that I wanted to be with and they found that disturbing. That I think that's an aspect of my life that I would have no challenges eliminating. Because if
Like, do you think, like, just to make it more broad, do you have to like express to your significant other like all your porn habits? Like, is that something that's even necessary to like even talk about?
I don't think that it is, but
like, I think
again,
it's pretty safe to assume like, hey, we both watch porn, we both jerk off. Like,
Yeah.
let's not make a big deal of it.
I think that it depends on, I mean, you don't want to air all your dirty laundry, but let's say that you happen to get into a relationship with what they say the best relationship to be in is a relationship with your best friend. Your best friend probably already knows that shit about you. You know what I'm saying? But I think that you don't have to vocalize.
I don't tell my best friends that I like bukkake. Okay.
I don't think you have to vocalize and admit everything from your past. You know what I'm saying? Because when you're in a relationship, you should be working towards a brighter future. That's the way that I look at it.
Yeah, that's true.
You know what I mean?
I agree with that.
But
And ultimately, you're right. It does just come down to
the two people,
communication.
yeah, and the two people
just
and their
talking
comfort
to
level.
each other.
Some couples,
And also, but like, what if you're communicating and that causes a fight?
yeah. Well, some couples are. I have friends who are couples that tell each other every fucking thing. They have no secrets, zero secrets whatsoever, zero things hidden from their past at all, and it does very well for them. I also know of another couple that does the same thing, but they use it to attack each other.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it all depends on who the individuals are. Me personally, I don't think that I would go into the deep, deep, dark depths of my past with a relationship. But if it's ever brought up and it's someone that I cared about and I know that they cared about me and they just think that, you know, if I admit this stuff to them, it would grow us stronger together, then it would be a conversation that we would have. But I wouldn't just go out of my way, sit them down at the Church's Chicken after COVID is over and just say, hey, you know, my friend who had a gas leak in his apartment one time, I offered him to sleep on my couch and I was planning on sticking my finger up his nose while he was asleep. You know, I wouldn't necessarily do something like that.
Sit them down at the Church's Chicken. You're like, hey, check out this video.
And notice I said nose.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome, Jake. Yeah. It hurts me a little bit, but I comply.
Well, that's the show. That's all I got for you. I had a good time. This was a good one. Very, very all over the place, and I like that. I like when we get all over the place. I like when we get all over each other, Cory.
Jake, you gotta stop fucking setting me up for these things, knowing damn well that I can't retort. You keep lobbing it up, bruh, and I want to slam dunk this shit. You keep lobbing, you keep poking the bear. Keep poking the bear. You're gonna end up getting some honey.
Gross. Make sure you check out the other shows on the channel. He's got his Johnson and
Shut
Johnson
up,
lotion
Jake.
ready
It
to
was
go.
a visual cue. It was a visual cue.
He's got it ready to go. Make sure you check out the other shows. We got this show comes out every Monday. Make sure you check out the Loner Gamecast, which we record live every Monday, 3:30 Pacific time. Live on Twitch, and then it's posted live everywhere else, podcast streaming services, YouTube, all that stuff the next day on Tuesday. Also, I've been doing some stuff with my friend Austin. We've been doing these spoiler casts together. We did a WandaVision spoiler cast, and we're planning on doing a Snyder cut spoiler cast, which we're probably going to release at the end of next week. So
love you, Austin.
Fun. Different Austin. Austin.
Don't love you, Austin.
But maybe you guys will meet one day, and you'll love each other too.
I only have room enough in my heart for one Austin. Sorry,
one Austin. Yeah.
So now they will
S-tier
forever
Austin, as I like
be
to call him.
Austin and different Austin.
There's Cory's Austin, and then there's Jake's Austin.
Hey, copycatter, get your own damn Austin.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, that's what I did.
Literally.
Yeah, that's what I did.
That's just funny.
Yeah, make sure you check that stuff out. I'm excited for all of that stuff.
With Jake and the different Austin. 5, 6, 7, 8.
That's the name of the show. Jake and that other Austin.